esteemed colleagues. We continue working day, and the floor is given to the head of the Customs Office of Odessa, the State Fiscal Service of Ukraine, Yulia Marushevska, steps from corruption to the open customs space in Odessa. Yulia, you have the floor. Thank you for the invitation. So, on 19th of December, and this was marked 2 months of my coming into the Customs Office of Odessa as the head of that office. The situation where we started our work, that was the situation of the rather corrupted public body, like I'm talking about the customs service there. So we set ourselves the task to eliminate this phenomenon in the Odessa region and democratize this office. Our immediate task, is the implementation of the project Open Customs Space, which is going to become the example of a new customs service, and we are going to work along the or within the new conditions. What we achieved already over those 2 months. We say that the customs office is not just the body for control and collection of money. Customs is the service provided by the country to the business. So this is the most important to us. We have 1,371 persons per our personnel. I mean, we used to work in the closed system, and one of our important tasks is to explain to those people who used to work within the system, to explain the new requirements we set before ourselves, that we cannot have the attitude towards the business as was the case before, that we shouldn't be rude, that we cannot actually rob them and to be partial in our judgment. We would like to change the situation to make the customs service a very comfortable and high quality service for business. So what we managed to do so far, step by step. First of all, we place the emphasis on the following, so that the customs clearance procedure must be based on the price indicated by business itself, because the biggest manipulations, the top complaints we have related to the price. So if somebody comes with a faked documents or forged documents, maybe not 100% forged documents, but first of all, the problem is associated with the price and the title of the products or the goods. So we say that we are prepared to trust the honest business, provided we have very good and honest conditions. We have, let's say, the different countries among those EU member states, Canada, Australia, some other countries, where the business can be sure that we are going to adopt, according to the legislation, force the prices for the countries, and they can go use by the new conditions, that the quality of the goods are increased by 10%. And you see, they brought 1,111,000,000 hryvnia for in total, then we meet the national manufacturer halfway, and we adopt the resolution that those Ukrainian manufacturers or producers which have the production capacities on territory Ukraine, they can actually buy the raw materials based on the price indicated in the contract, which will allow us to increase the volume of production. Will tell upon on the life of each citizen of Ukraine. This support of national manufacturing producer, very important thing. We are talking about changing the procedures. I'm talking about memorandum to avoid ungrounded inspections or unnecessary inspections on the part of the law enforcement agencies. We agreed with the Odessa prosecutor's office, the state fiscal service, etc., that the stop of the cargo in such a volume which was cast before cannot be continued. You can see the results on this slide over the last 2 months. While in the period January to October 2018, they had more than more than 1700 stoppages of the cars. Only 170 were successful, you say. So we can say that this can be done on decision of the head of the customs service or his deputy. What guarantees it provides us for the kind of inspections which were provoked by the rank and file investigators or some kind of the ungrounded actions will be eliminated in kind of, or there could be the case somebody pays a bribe and about some kind of specific company which will slow down the business procedure, and deprive those companies of the possibility to take care of the honest business. We say that if there is any threat to the to the security or safety of business or the country, whether we are dealing with some kind of drugs or weapons, or definitely those inspections are absolutely necessary, but not the inspections, just because somebody wishes to take care of those expansions to find some kind of insects or whatever else. This is not in favor of the business. We did this step, we made this step, and which is very well received both in the business and the customs environment. And the Odessa Customs Service became the first customs office which switched over to the Prozor transparent service. We actually introduced we actually this helped us a lot to exercise control over all those expenditures which we have as the state institution. We can recommend this program to all the state bodies or public bodies and agencies in Ukraine. I think that the further on the procurement will be done not only within these limits of the money, that this will be could be done by any kind of entrepreneur in our country, and we'll be happy to take care of their future proposals. Now we are going to present our major project, Open Customs Space, where we're going to implement all our hopes and aspirations. As you can see, we are going to implement that on the territory of the seaport, where they are going to completely reconstruct and change how we can actually cooperate with UCAD. We purchase new equipment, we involve new persons, we are going to work 24/7 model, and the whole procedure will take not more than 1 hour. And if the documents are properly prepared, and we are talking without fair business, this procedure will take 15 minutes. So, we'll have the special green corridor for all those who have everything in good order. We'll have some yellow corridor with some kind of infringements or violations, whatever else associated with smuggling, which is going to be observed in the online mode all the time. And we are going to support those functions of stopping, eliminating the customs violations. This will allow us to carry out our function safely and uninterruptedly. And so yellow corridor, which if there are some problem with the documents, and the red corridor when we have to inspect the cargo. So our new inspectors, 20 persons working for the red corridor, will be elected randomly. So, for example, 2 of them will receive on their mobile phone information that there are some problems, this or another truck or a vehicle. Now, those inspectors will go to a specific place and record and the video record and fix everything which is going on there. The whole inspection will last not more than 1 hour, and they will have an opportunity to see on video if there are any problems. Then the declaration has to be closed if there are no more questions, or they have to correct the cost of the cargo if there are some violations. We have to understand, in addition to changing the technological equipment, we are going to change the people, we are going to change the system per se. We propose new software which is going to be used as developed by the UN, is used in 80 countries of the world already. We create new legal basis for all those changes. We are working on this already, so that when we are going to launch this system, that we have everything ready in the legal field, in legal framework, so that we could provide those high quality and fast services which we are talking about now. So we are going to automate those processes to a maximum extent. Inspector cannot pass on his own the decision regarding the 1 million worth declarations. This has a negative effect on the process, and which is very dangerous. Our approach is those decisions which can be taken by this software itself should be done in this way, and the rest can be decisions. I mean, are going to be taken by a group of the highly skilled, top-notch analysts. In January, we are going to announce the competition for the new inspectors, 130 inspectors. We hope that the graduates of the judicial, or I mean not judicial, legal institutes, universities, legal schools, lower schools will actually respond to our advertisements, so you can approach me at a specific website, yulia.marushevska.com, ua.com. But starting from January 15, we'll have announcement, the official announcement of this contest. The people who will be first selected, we need actually those people to have a great command of English language for them to communicate with our foreign partners and work with the English language declaration. Then they go through the tests for the general knowledge, for their loyalty, and also they are going to go through interview and of course special training for our new system. We hope that those people will become the new face, the image of our new customs service, and they will become the inspiring force for the rest of the customs service of the country to follow in their footsteps. Of course, not all the process are that smooth. There are still some problems with bureaucracy. We have some delays in the majority of the process. We still have the inert post-Soviet legislation, and we try to introduce some changes on the regional level. The state fiscal system and the custom service requires new approaches. What we are doing, that if we're talking about the post audit to work properly, to start to work properly, I understand that changes in one system will entail changes in other systems, and those steps forward which we are taking to now will entail the changes surrounding in the areas around us. Thank you very much. Should you have any questions, please put those. Those are really grand plans. We hope that you'll be successful in your work. Ellen Simchenko, Ukrainian UCMC. Do they offer you bribes? They do not dare to do that. I'm talking with the coming of your new teams. They stopped to the bribing. This high scale or large scale flow of bribes is possible only when the management or top management is involved. They're talking about the huge flows of the illegal money. This is only possible You were talking about the level, the head of customs office or his deputy. We started to change the personnel. We replaced the management at the level of the departments, and we started the cleaning procedure, and we continue to do that. Unfortunately, legislation is absolutely inflexible, and we have to persuade the people that they cannot continue to work at the Odessa customs office if they do not change their attitude. But again, I repeat myself, they do not dare to approach us with some kind of offering or proposal bribes. You mentioned that you're in a way the human capital, if I may put it this way. Speaking about the set of criteria, and that was the same story when you start to select the heads of the district councils. The experience, they had very good experience of selecting new personnel. We managed to get 6,000 applications for for several hundred places, and we managed to select the I hope the cream of those people. The procedure will be similar to what we had, because as a result we had in the selection of the heads of the district council is very good. We are going to select or to hire the rank and file inspectors. We are not talking about the managerial personnel. If the chief inspectors will have about 100 or something like that, rank and file inspectors, we are talking about the junior inspectors, senior inspectors, analysts, and depending on their position, we are going to have more or less specified, more specified duties for those people. If we are talking about those changes will take place in customs office in Odessa and take in consideration the whole picture in Ukraine, do you come across some kind of subversive actions or sabotage or resistance? No, there is no sabotage. We are trying to do something to improve their standards of their living. The service must be comfortable, and the one such which you do not notice. So why not taking care of this process all over the Ukraine? Why shouldn't we expand our innovations? We have established and we maintain our dialogue with business, and we maintain business with EBA and all other American Chamber of Commerce. And on the part of business, we come across the support. They help us with their lawyers, and so we communicate with them all the time. If there is some kind of misunderstanding, this mostly on the part of our employees who are kind of not flexible enough. They are afraid of the new system. And generally speaking, the system itself, which perceive us as some kind of alien body, that we are a foreign body, we are not well prepared yet. They are not prepared yet to those help. We have some assistance on the part of the fiscal service. They help us with the new innovations we introduced regarding this new software or launching this open custom space. We have the permission to elect those people, and there is some kind of resistance on the part of the brokers. That brokers sometimes, very often, I'm not talking about the normal decent people who you're talking about brokers who became the intermediaries as a link in the chain of the corruption, and they would call say you have documents or you don't have. If you have documents, the price will be such. If you do not have a problem with documents, you have a different price for our services. So we want the customer officer to have the same opportunities that the broker has. Our customer officer will be able to fill in the declaration form, or to evaluate the price or the cost of the commodities. It would be easier and simpler to take care of this process and to ensure the fastness, I would say, of this process or procedure. Because today brokers, more often than not, they try to resolve the problem, so to say. They instead of providing some real legal services, they try to reach some kind of agreement. You know what kind of agreement I mean. Uh, and there are about 30 European countries, USA and Canada, who go through the simplified procedure. Are going to increase or expand this list of the countries? Yes, we are working on that. We prepare the expansion of that list, and then I believe that we'll be able to work with the majority of the companies on this basis. If we're talking about the national producer manufacturers, this applies to all the countries. We are going to introduce this price of the contract. So far we are talking about the 30 countries. This can be accounted for by the fact that between Ukraine and those countries there is a dialogue on the level of the governments, and there is the support on their part of this kind of approach. We can actually work with the price which is declared by the importer. If there is some contract with Germany and the business said that we have the certificate of origin coming from Germany, we indicate this and this price. If we have any doubts, we can always contact our German colleagues and try to receive the confirmation regarding this price. For example, if you're dealing with the China-made goods, when we cannot reach them and ask them whether this price corresponds to reality or not. And actually, they gave me a statistic that over 80% of the contracts can deal with the fake products. For example, it's 28 cents cost, and they put the price of $2. So it would be incorrect to trust this price, because in this case we do not have some kind of revenues which will go to the budget. Sergey Malarchuk, UCMC. Yulia, can you please tell us, there is an idea that in order to completely conquer corruption in the customs, we need to hire foreign experts to do that. Looking at the Odessa customs office, I have an impression that we can anyway overcome this principle or stereotype or this idea. Do you really support such an idea that our experts, or through the efforts of Ukrainian patriots, we can overcome this or win over this stereotype and on our own win over the corruptive schemes and manipulations, and to reach the honest and transparent. Well, thank you for your question. I don't think this depends on the national origin of those who work in the customs. Depends on the political will. Even in this region, there is a political will of this kind. We can actually overcome this barrier, and irrespective of what kind of citizenship this specific person has. Without that, we cannot do anything. We have to change the conditions under which these public officers work today in those procedures which exist today. But without political will, it's next to impossible to do that. Anna Gonchara Cruz, UCMC, you perhaps know that the fact of your appointment, there were a lot of skeptics about that, and you're very confident, your professional talk about those topics. Perhaps you're well versed already in these things. You're still full of enthusiasm and the wish to continue to break the old schemes and old system. Where do you take the inspiration and force or strength to do that, and what can you advise to your colleagues who come to work in these the public services, and most of them do not have enough enthusiasm left? What what is your source of strength and inspiration? Of course, for me, inspiration is always the deeds of our heavenly hundred. They actually sacrifice their lives for the benefit of our country. In my office, I have on the wall the portrait of Sergei Nagayan, one of the heavenly hundred, who inspires me all the time. And this is kind of a moral and ethical component of what is going on. And for those who came to the public services on the way of the Maidan way. I mean, I would like to say that our revolution is not over. It still continues because the social system hasn't been changed. The revolution comes when or ends when we change the previous system for a new one. Unfortunately, in Ukraine we have the oligarchate, which still remain against which we try to fight. We have to continue to fight against those people who did not surrender. Any more questions or clarifications? If not, thank you, Yulia, for coming, and good and luck. I wish you all the luck in your endeavors. We have additional briefing at 5 p.m. We have Saakashvili, Sergei Lechенko, Igor